Have you ever walked past an old car parked on a quiet street and wondered who might be sleeping inside? Sometimes the greatest acts of love happen where no one is watching. This is the story of an old single father who gave up every comfort he had so his daughter could chase a better future. 20 years later, when life seemed to have forgotten him, someone knocked on his door and changed everything forever. Before we begin, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Heartline Stories, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Every like and every kind comment helps us share more inspiring stories about hope, love, and the power of kindness. On a cold autumn evening in Ohio, an old blue sedan sat quietly behind a grocery store. Inside, wrapped in 2 worn blankets, slept 60-year-old Daniel Brooks. The car wasn't just transportation. It had been his home for nearly 4 years. Most people who passed by thought he was simply another homeless man. They never knew Daniel had once owned a small house or that every sacrifice he made had only one purpose: to make sure his daughter, Emily, could attend the college she had dreamed about since she was a little girl. Daniel's wife had passed away when Emily was only 8 years old. From that day forward, he became both father and mother. He worked 2 jobs, packed school lunches, helped with homework, and never missed a parent-teacher meeting. When Emily was accepted into one of the best universities in the country, they celebrated with happy tears. But the tuition was far more than Daniel could afford. He sold almost everything he owned. First went his tools. Then the furniture. Finally, he sold the family home. Emily begged him not to do it. "Dad," she cried, "I can take out more loans. I don't want you losing everything." Daniel smiled gently and placed a hand on her shoulder. "A house is just walls," he said. "Your future is worth much more." He never told her that after paying her tuition and housing, he no longer had enough money to rent an apartment for himself. Instead, he quietly moved into his old sedan. Every morning before sunrise, Daniel cleaned himself at a public gym where he worked part-time. During the day he stocked shelves at a grocery store and worked evenings as a janitor. Whenever Emily called, he always answered with cheerful words. "I'm doing great, sweetheart," he'd say. "Don't worry about me. Just study hard." Emily believed he had rented a small apartment nearby. Daniel never wanted her carrying the burden of guilt. Years passed. Emily graduated with honors, then earned a medical degree. She became one of the youngest heart surgeons in Chicago. Her career became demanding. Long hours turned into long months. Phone calls became shorter. Visits became rare. Still, Daniel never complained. Every birthday he mailed her a handwritten letter. Every Christmas he sent a small gift, even if it meant skipping meals for a week. He was proud of her every single day. As Daniel grew older, his body became weaker. Arthritis made it painful to work, yet he continued stocking shelves because he refused to ask anyone for help. One snowy evening, Daniel noticed a young family standing outside a gas station. Their car had broken down, and they looked frightened. Although Daniel barely had enough money for his own dinner, he walked over and handed the father $40. "This should help with a tow truck," he said. The man tried to refuse. "You need this more than we do." Daniel smiled. "Maybe today. Tomorrow will take care of itself." The family thanked him through tears. Daniel climbed back into his car with only a bottle of water for dinner. Kindness had always come naturally to him. A few weeks later, Daniel collapsed while lifting heavy boxes at work. The hospital admitted him for exhaustion and pneumonia. When nurses asked for an emergency contact, Daniel quietly gave Emily's number. She answered between surgeries. When she heard the nurse explain that her father had no permanent address, everything around her seemed to stop. "What do you mean no address?" she whispered. The nurse hesitated before answering. "Ma'am, your father has been living in his car for years." Emily felt the phone slip from her hand. Memories rushed back. Her father working late. His worn-out boots. The way he always changed the subject whenever she asked about his apartment. She realized the terrible truth. Everything he had lost, he had lost for her. Emily canceled every surgery for the week. Within hours she was driving through the night to Ohio. When she entered the hospital room, Daniel looked surprised. "You shouldn't have come," he said softly. Emily couldn't hold back her tears. She hugged him tighter than she ever had before. "I'm so sorry, Dad," she whispered. "I was saving lives while forgetting the man who gave me mine." Daniel gently smiled. "You never forgot me," he said. "You were simply living the dream we both worked for." A week later, after Daniel recovered, Emily asked him to take one more drive with her. They arrived at a quiet neighborhood filled with beautiful trees. She stopped in front of a cozy white house with a wide porch. Daniel admired it. "The people living here are lucky," he said. Emily handed him a small envelope. Inside was a single key. Confused, Daniel looked at her. "What is this?" She smiled through happy tears. "Welcome home, Dad." Daniel stood frozen. "You bought this?" Emily nodded. "It's yours. No loans. No payments. Every room was chosen because I remembered what Mom used to love. And there's something else." She led him into the backyard. There stood a small woodworking shop filled with brand new tools. "I remembered how much you loved building things before you sold everything for me." Daniel couldn't speak. For the first time in years, tears rolled freely down his face. Neighbors soon learned his story. The young family he had once helped at the gas station heard about it too. They arrived carrying homemade meals and flowers. One act of kindness had quietly touched countless lives. Daniel spent his retirement building wooden toys for children in hospitals. Emily delivered them during her visits. Together, father and daughter discovered that kindness never truly disappears. It simply waits for the right moment to return. If this story touched your heart, remember this simple truth. The greatest gifts are often invisible. A parent's sacrifice, a stranger's compassion, or a small act of generosity can shape someone's future in ways we may never fully understand. So today, choose kindness even when no one is watching. Help someone without expecting anything in return. Call the person who has always believed in you. Because love has a remarkable way of finding its way back home. Thank you for spending this time with Heartline Stories. Until next time, keep believing in kindness, keep spreading hope, and never underestimate the life-changing power of one caring heart.